What is up, bros? Me Josh here, and today's video is all about the Kronshtadt, one of the newest free XP ships in World of Warships, the Tier 9 Russian cruiser that you can get through free XP, and it's a question I get all the time on stream. Me Josh, is this ship worth it? So in this video, I will dive into what I think is the strengths, the weaknesses, and kind of give my thoughts on the ship. And in the end, it's really going to be up to you guys. Me Josh, is the ship worth it? It depends. Is this going to be a ship you enjoy to play? So I'm going to dive into all the things I like and dislike about this ship, and in the end, it's really going to be your call. It's your free XP. I have the ship, so it's kind of a biased opinion if I really think it's worth it, but I'll try to give you guys as honest of opinion as possible and break down this ship, and hopefully you guys will get a better idea of if it's a ship you'll like to play and one that you're going to want to pick up. And you know, 750,000 free XP to get this ship, that's a lot of play, that's a lot of grinding, that's a lot of saving, and I want you guys to make as best of a decision as possible. And I don't want you guys to maybe buy a ship that doesn't quite match your play style, you won't like to play, and it's kind of just going to be a port trophy when you could have got something maybe like the Musashi right now, or even the Nelson, other ships available for free XP that you could have potentially got instead and had more fun with. But the Tier 9 Russian cruiser is pretty nasty. One of the major things you can see with this ship is the massive health pool. 71,050 health. That is by far the highest health pool in World of Warships for cruisers, by far. Now this is considered, it's going to be kind of the first talk of the battle cruiser, so it's kind of this in-between, if you will, of cruiser, battleship. It's kind of battleship kind of armor, battleship life with cruiser-ish aspects to it. And one thing that it does kind of queue into matchmaking, it does queue into matchmaking as a cruiser slot. So, you know, with that massive health pool, just for comparison, the Moskva Tier 10, the Russian Tier 10 cruiser, has 65,400. So that's I mean, that's what we're looking at, 5,000 more life than the Tier 10 cruiser with the most life. So it's pretty insane. And just for another comparison, the Alsace, the Tier 9 battleship for the French line, has 74,700. So just 3,000 more on a battleship of the same tier. And again, you're considered a cruiser. Now, I will call this thing a cruiser throughout the video. I know it's considered a battle cruiser, but since it does queue into a cruiser and a cruiser slot, just for the sake of simplicity, I will consider this a cruiser. So before anybody in the comments says it's technically a battle cruiser, blah, 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 I'm just purely going as the matchmaking considers this a cruiser, so I will consider this a cruiser. But first of all, this ship is armored to the T. We'll switch over to the port slot, the port view really quick, and just show you how actually armored the ship is. Now overall, with this cruiser, this battle cruiser, it's heavily armored. It almost looks like with the armor layout in port, it looks more like you're looking at a battleship. This would be more than a battleship than a cruiser. I mean, just a massive citadel armor of 230 meters. That's actually pretty damn good, allowing for this thing to bounce a lot of shells, especially on that lower plating. I mean, even taking out just the front end plating, which is the 25mm armor, which of course can be beat up, but even 25mm against smaller calibers will, you know, of course, shatter a lot more on a lot of lighter stuff. But if you just take away that, I mean, you have massive armor with 330mm on the front, which means you can bow tank a lot with this ship, and it almost kind of works like a battleship would, being able to get in there and really bow tank and bounce a lot of shells. Now, of course, with having the only 25mm on the top, if somebody is smart, they're going to either punch you in the nose for some full pens, or they will kind of aim a little bit higher. But that still protects that from getting that overmatch and getting those lower citadels. I mean, even comparing it to something, let's say, relatively tanky, as like the Rune at Tier 9. I mean, there's just nothing compared to it. This thing will just get overmatched for days with the 27mm. Going back to the the Kronshtadt. I mean, armored to the T. And even just switching over to the Buffalo really fast, again, there's little to no armor compared. So that makes this Kronshtadt a very aggressive ship to kind of push in and get aggressive, which you can have this defense of this heavily armored ship to really work with you and be a dangerous weapon. With that armor to go with it, you do have some pretty insane guns. You have a 3x3, 6 turrets, or 2 turrets of 3 in the front, 1 turret in the back, and it's 3x3 of 305 millimeters. So massive shells going out with an 18.5-second reload with the module. For the reload module, since it is tier 9, you can get it down to a 16.3, which I highly recommend, with a range of 18.2 kilometers, with a dispersion of 242 meters. So with these guns, I would say it's the strength and weakness of the ship, and you can kind of see it. This is a video, it's not an insane damage. Oh my god, 300k damage. This game really shows the strengths and weaknesses of basically the guns, and I like this game as a perfect example of what to kind of go off of when you see this. Now, cruiser, usually especially Russian, the Donskoy is extremely accurate, the Moscow is extremely accurate, the Chappie, I mean, all these ships are extremely accurate, but there are straight up cruisers. This one is that battle cruiser in between stage, and what I mean by that is it's not the most accurate. And if you've ever played, the easiest thing to compare this to is the Graf Spee, the tier 6 German cruiser. So this kind of has like a high risk, high reward kind of ship, where these are massive, massive shells. So if you do have some good dispersion, something's giving you a good broadside, you'll see later in the game, you can even punish battleships with this pretty heavily. You can absolutely smash. But you get stuff like this, and, you know, it's kind of blah. And that's going to be the strength and a weakness of the ship, is this shell type. You have a slower reload, but you do have the potential of doing lots of damage, but you have also the potential of missing everything. And it's going to be extremely hot and cold. Same with the Graf Spee if you ever played that ship. For me, the HE on this ship seems very underwhelming from time to time. You do have a 26% fire chance with this ship, which is actually nice, but you do get salvos like that. And if you saw, it was kind of all over the place. So losing that rate of fire, losing that a little bit of accuracy, you are rewarded for certain salvos, and you are kind of punished for other ones with that dispersion. And that's just pure RNG. So it is a bit more of an RNG-filled ship, but in the end, you will kind of, I would say, be relatively consistent with how much damage you do. I seem to be relatively consistent with this ship. It's not like anything crazy of a, man, I had, you know, I would say ships that are very inconsistent, in my opinion, are like IGN destroyers, where you will go in and you'll have one game where you have 150k, and then the next game we have 30. This one seems to be relatively consistent. The guns do hit hard, and if you play it right, you can do very, very well. It seems to be very in the middle for me. Like, so you'll get salvos like this, which are great, and, you know, you can do lots of damage, but you will get that salvo where it is kind of meh for its hit. And again, I feel like the HE, I don't know why, for 305 millimeters, I feel like the damage for this ship, HE shells, is relatively low. So I tend to stick with AP on a lot of the broadsides because it's just worth it, and man, you will absolutely smash stuff. Again, it does have radar. It has AA charge, which could be switched out for a spotter plane, and the AA amount isn't that crazy. You're not going to be getting any clear skies with this, but you will be knocking out a couple planes, and just having the AA consumable is actually really, really nice, because you can at least spread the planes out, because you are a pretty big ship too with this battlecruiser setup. You're a pretty long ship, you're not the most agile ship, so you want to have the ability to kind of spread the planes out and make it. I mean, you'll see time and time again with these salvos, if you track them a little bit, the dispersion is going to be all over the place. It's not like if you've ever played the Donskoy or the Moskva, they're basically shooting lasers. It's a bit more of, like, I would say, a Scharnhorst-esque, a Graf Spee-esque dispersion of kind of all over the place. It really, really is. And also you get a Russian heel, which is 11.7 kilometers for, I believe 25 seconds. Off the top of my head, it might be 20. And nice little torpid right there. And of course a heel with this massive health pool. Those heels are going to be pretty nuts. So again, massive health pool, good. Radar, good. A consumable, good. You can't get Hydro on this, so that's just the heads up there. You have guns that can hit hard. That's good. Basically, the only downside about this right now, in my opinion, is the dispersion can be a little trolly from time to time, but still. And then you have, of course, that armor and the ability to work. And you'll kind of see this now. It's been kind of a weird game. Lots of destroyers in this game, so the damage has been kind of wonky, but now I'm going to get a little aggressive since a lot of the DDs are dead, and we can kind of see what this thing will do against other battleships like this North Carolina as well. Detection of 12.4 kilometers, so it has the highest detection of any tier 9 cruiser, just beating out the Donskoy at 12.3. This is with the Consumables expert as well as the module, and that's kind of insane in my opinion, because if you're going to get basically right there, Donskoy is going to spot you. Most things will spot you beforehand, but you know, getting that ability to kind of get relatively close, angle in, and then your big ass guns can potentially get something that's broadside or they're not paying attention, you're gonna wake them up pretty damn quick. And now even with the spotter planes switching out for AA, I don't think it's really worth it. With 18.2 kilometers, you're gonna be out to 21, almost 22 kilometers, I guess. I just don't really see like it's worth it. I don't see the point in it. I would rather protect myself from planes, and I guess it depends on your server or if you're like divisioning with a CV or whatnot. But you will, in my opinion, I like to be consistently protected from CVs, and instead of just potentially getting a little bit more damage on range. I feel like with this, you will be a bit more of an aggressive cruiser because you can bounce this, and you will see me bounce a bunch of shells here. We're going against the Yamato as well as a North Carolina, and we're actually getting some pretty damn good salvos from HE salvos. I tend to favor the AP probably a little too much when I play this ship, and really, the HE chance at 26%, honestly does kind of work. You know, of course it's going to work, 26% fire chance, but I mean, you'll see it hit and miss, and just watch the accuracy too. Really, the big downside for me is the accuracy. That's why I don't enjoy the Graf Spey. That's why I don't really enjoy some of these other ships that a lot of people tend to enjoy. I like being, if I'm aiming at something, I want it to hit there, right? Yes, in warships, I know there's a lot of RNG everywhere with your dispersion, but I like things to be relatively consistent, and this is a bit of a problem, in my opinion, going on with this ship, and is one of the things I just want to really talk about. So, is this ship worth it? Things I think of when I look at ships that are worth it. One, does this give a unique experience? And I think it does. I don't think anything really plays like this at this tier. Again, you have the Graf Spey, a semi-Scharnhorst-esque play style. But again, the Graf Spey is going to be one of the easiest kind of comparison to this, although this doesn't have torpedoes, it has radar. So there's a bit of a different play style, but gun-wise, very Graf Spey-esque. But this is a pretty unique ship. It doesn't play like any other cruiser, especially at this tier or anywhere near it. And you will get a lot of fun out of this. It's different. So is it worth it in that aspect? Yes. 750,000 free XP. That's pretty brutal for a lot of people. That's a lot of grinding. There's probably some people who have never had anywhere near that, just sitting around for free XP. And right there, you get some kind of full pens, you know, 3 full pens for 5k, and then you get 3 full pens for 1100 with the HE. That's why I said there's a little bit of inconsistency, but we'll see what the AP can do. Again, dispersion right there. It's kind of all over the place, but with shells this big, if they were super accurate, you would just blow everything out of the water. So there's a reason behind that. So far, goods and bads. Massive life, massive armor, massive guns that can hit really hard, pretty decent reload time with the reload at 16.3 seconds. You have a bunch of different and you'll also see me, I'm a little bit broadside. I was hoping for some nice citadels on this guy right here. We're aiming at the cheek earlier and we didn't get it. So again, nice little smack right there on a battleship. And right now you'll see what this battleship, he's from a pretty solid clan here and he kind of knows what he's doing. And you'll kind of see me work a little bit right here. But this is also one of the things you can do with this ship is you can kind of push into battleships, because if they show you broadside, you can smack them. So there was that big gun, and when you're getting pretty close, you will see me switch to AP and start punishing this guy. And you can even see I'll start to switch back to the HE. So massive health pool, armor, different playstyle. I always, when I talk to people about is it worth it, most of the time they're asking about premium, and it's tough for me to say if a ship is worth it for a premium, because, you know, it's tough for me to be like, yes, it's worth it, go pay your money for this ship. $1 could be a lot to somebody, $1 could be nothing to somebody, you know, or whatever the price of said ship is. This being free XP, you can get it while you're playing, so it's a little bit different, although some people will spend a little bit extra, like when the Missouri was out and stuff like that, spend a little bit extra to get to get that free XP boost by converting free XP with doubloons. I understand that. So I like to think of, well, here is what this ship does, and you get to basically fill the box. I like that it brings something different to the game. I like that it's not just very cookie cutter, which you can kind of see. You know, let's look at stuff like the Missouri, which just came out. It's like the Iowa, but different. The Musashi, it's a Yamato, but different. It's Yamato at different tiers, has weaknesses elsewhere, and you get to play that at a different tier. Kronshtadt, overall, I enjoy it. I think it brings something unique, and overall, I think it'd be very enjoyable for you if you do enjoy cruisers. But again, you're going to have to like cruiser play. You're going to have to like high tier play, and you know, you're going to have to like Russian high tier play. So kind of that burning down, HE spam, overall kind of radaring cruiser, that kind of style. So overall, it even makes a decent amount of credits. This is purely without any flags on this. I think kind of lackluster, maybe like the heel flag, but 535,000 credits, a decent amount of XP on top of that as well, with some extra XP on there, and it was kind of like a mediocre game. So the credit earning is there. You can definitely go out and get way bigger games on that. It's not going to have Missouri credit potential of millions and millions per game, but you know, it's different. So overall, what do I say? I enjoy this ship. Now I'm someone that's probably has a lot more free XP, has a lot more games to grind and everything like that. So free XP isn't quite as much as a luxury as maybe somebody that doesn't play so much. So if you are looking to invest in this ship and getting this ship, one, do you enjoy cruisers? Do you enjoy high tiers? Do you enjoy Russian cruisers? If you can check all of those boxes and going into this ship, I think it's worth picking up. I really do. I like that it's different. I like that it's unique. I like that you can't really get this ship and this play style anywhere else. So that's what I do like about this. And if you can go out there, I definitely would recommend it. I think you're going to end up liking it. Now, if you have some free XP chilling and you really dislike high tier and you are a DD main or battleship main, even if you're a battleship main, you might get some fun out of this, but if you're like a DD guy, a CV guy, of course this ship isn't for you, and you can easily pass on it. Maybe it'll come back in the future. There's no set time for this thing to go away, but, you know, if this isn't your style, just save your free XP and just wait. You know, there's going to be something coming up at some point. You know, you have the Musashi you can still pick up. You have the Nelson you can still pick up. There's these other choices you guys can play and have some fun with those. But anyways, this has been I've been getting a lot of questions about stuff like this. Is this ship worth it? If the things that I talked about in this game match, you know, you can check those for yeses for you. Definitely go pick it up. If not, it's a pass. But overall, I enjoy it, and I hope this video helps you guys out. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.